Hello, friends. Welcome to a new episode. Today we will be discussing on Australia, work permit, and many other related uh, information related to the immigration. So let's start. Hello, ma'am. Hi. So since Australia have started their new financial year, so there are a lot of clients which comes to us. So now these clients got relaxed. As per them, it has been started. So they think applying after 6 months of 7 months can be a good option. Yeah. So do you really suggest such candidate to wait for 5 or 6 months to apply for Australian PR?
Not at all, because we all have to understand that the financial year starts in July and it ends in June. And we all are aware of the fact that Australian immigration has a limited quota. In certain cases, it would be, they have a kind of an occupational selenium mode.
Okay.
The moment they get the applications as per the quota that has been allotted to them, they would close it. So as of now, there are many states which have not yet opened. They would be opening soon. One thing each and every individual needs to remember that they cannot get into the selection pool immediately. There is a prerequisite. What is the prerequisite? You need to have a valid skill assessment outcome. So that also takes time because it can take a month and it can take even up to 3 months as well. So wiser thing would be to get the process initiated provided the eligibility conditions are met. So once you have a skill assessment outcome in a certain time frame, you are then almost ready to get into the selection for you. Okay. And one very important thing that we also need to understand that if our occupation is coming under 189 surplus, they usually, as if there is no fixed number of draws that would happen every year because it would all depend, of course, on the number of requirements as per the labor market. But last year we could see that under 189 surplus, there were only two draws which happened. One wherein they picked up more than 7,000, and in the other draw which happened, they picked up 15,000 and it was closed. So understood it was closed by November, right? And there was no scope for anyone further to get an invite for 189. So all this small things needs to be understood and the preparation has to be done likewise, and people need to act on it. If you're eligible, just immediately start.
All right. That since surplus 189, they just done two draws. So it is very much essential for the candidates who are falling under 180, and they should start immediately.
And in one single draw, they picked a 15,000 application, which is a very huge number. So those who got invite, they were the fortunate ones. They did not become fortunate this way. Their application was in the skill ceiling. Their NEOI was created. So never wait. Let me do this first and then come back because then you would be late.
All right. So, if our viewers want to check their occupation, is it falling under 189 or not? So, how they can do it?
See, you can definitely do a self-evaluation as well, going to the immigration side of Australian government. But to make your life little easier, we definitely have our evaluation consultants. So what we require from you is your updated resume. So we do a thorough analysis, and then we are in a position to identify the subclass and the exact portfolio as well.
Yeah, that's a great way of initiating. All right. And there are few people who are not so keen in moving with 491, but since your Australian government is more focusing on 491 visa category, so wanted to understand, what kind of challenges which a candidate can face or once they move into 491. Is it a challenging pathway, or they have a great future to upgrade their visa to a permanent residency? How easy it is to do it? All right. So if you can let us more on about 491, that would be very well.
Because under 491 subclass, if you remember, we did a detailed
Yeah.
review, which is there on our YouTube channel, and we can definitely follow that. And 491 subclass is definitely a pathway to get your permanent residency. We don't see it as a challenge. Rather, we see it as an opportunity to enter Australia, because 491 subclass would only have two restrictions. One is mandatorily you have to stay and work in the regional area for 3 years, right? And after 3 years, you are given an opportunity and you can upscale your visa to PR under 191 subclass. So even under 491 subclass, you are getting the Medicare by the Australian government. If somebody is migrating with the family, then the kids are getting education almost free, you can say, right? And small factors needs to be kept in mind while you are there in Australia on the phone and what. So even if you are changing the regions, you need to be, keep the immigration department posted about it. You need to keep in mind the number of days that you can be outside that particular region. And of course, you would get a detailed video of it, which we have already posted. This is something very important because Home 91 gives you a boost in your visa application because they support you with 15 points, which is huge. And minus Sydney, Melbourne, Brisbane, we all have to understand that Inter-Australia is starting as the region of the area. So there is no challenge, but it's an opportunity.
All right. And there are people who are just looking for work permits in Australia. So that is subclass 482. So is it so easy in when we compare it with permanent residency? Because I've seen people who well settled here, have a great profile, which are at high demand, but they choose the pathway of permanent residency, the general skilled migration. But there are a bunch of people who are just focusing on 482, that is work permit. So if they are eligible in PR, which pathway they should consider? Is it a 482 pathway is more easier than the general skilled migration pathway?
If you ask me, I would say PR is always a safer option. Okay. See, many of them, as in you rightly mentioned, that they look forward for work permit because they want to go with the job, right? So they are given a kind of a dream that you would be going to Australia with a job. Now, my question to all of them would be, how many of them have you seen in your acquaintance, family, moving on a 482 subclass? If it would have been that easy, most of them would have filed or gone to Australia under 482. Because we have seen so many such kind of cases where they were promised a job, a real-time job. They went there, and even from the airport, they have to come back. So understand the kind of emotional drain out that happens, the kind of financial drain out that has happened until then, and no scope of getting any kind of refund. And if somebody is actually getting an opportunity to go to Australia under 482 subclass, you would be restricted to the particular employer for a year or two. So even if you have some wonderful opportunities coming your way, and you know that you are that right fit for the job, still you cannot apply. You would not be getting any kind of Medicare. And there are many such member challenges which usually people face who are there under 482. But the question again remains, how many of them actually get the real-time opportunity to go to Australia under 482? And of course, we would also remind out here that under 482 subclass, the kind of finance or the financial commitment from the lines end is going to be like compared to DR.
Okay.
Even if we talk from the government fees perspective, the labor market testing would cost you around 1,500 AUB, which you will have to bear, and therefore it's not going to bear it for you. the employment sponsorship fees, which is more than 3,500 AUD, who's going to bear? The candidate is going to bear. So, say the employee sponsorship got an acceptance from the government, then you have to again pay your visa fees. So, if you just calculate the government fees itself, that's going to be more than 10,000, 11,000 AUD. This is just the government fees. And apart from the government fees, close to a person is expected to invest minus the government fees, nothing less than 20, 30, or 32 lakhs, and even higher at times. So, if you are getting something lucrative, something which is permanent, where you are getting all the support from the government, where you are being benefited with all the social security benefits, you have a better life for yourself, better security for your family, then PR definitely stands out, and that each individual has to realize.
All right. And very important, in order to find a right pathway for surplus for AV2, you should have the right source. And getting a right source in India is also very challenging. So you end up, paying to a raw consultant.
Yes, this happens in most of the cases, right? And that's what I was trying to say, that if somebody is looking for 482 surplus, you might have seen your friends or in your family or your colleagues going on a study visa or a PR and provisional PR. How many of you have you seen going to Australia on a 482 surplus? So it's not easy. And even with all the challenges, if you are in a position to get the visa run under 480 surplus, you have spent so much of money. Even then, there's no security because you are not going to stay in Australia permanently under 482 surplus. Because after a certain time, as per the clause which is there under 482 surplus, again you have to chase for UPR. So if you have to chase for your PR, why not chase fear right from day one rather than taking the other way out? Because the main fear which remains, we have to wait for so long. See, waiting is there even under 482. It does not happen in 3 or 4 months of time. Even if it's mentioned on the government website 482 or 186, but the processing time, the practical thing, it does not take, 3 months or 6 months. Rather, it can prolong up to 10 months, 11 months, 12 months, even beyond that. First thing. Second thing, the money involvement, BFR is much lesser compared to a work permit. And ultimately, if you have your visa granted with you under 190, 189 or 491, it's not like immediately the government would tell you to pack your bags and come and get the validation done. The government still allows you after the visa run 7-8 months to make your first rally. Those 7-8 months sitting in India, try for the job.
Just wanted to come there. So if they want to utilize this 6 to 7 months being in India, how Hodophiles can help them? Are we really helping them and assisting with the hunt of job?
Yes, we do. We do have our job search process in place. We have our job search, artist or strategist in place who would market the profile to the employers. There is a way to market the profile. Just don't send your profile, post your profile as per the job posting on the job portal. Nothing is going to work out. So there is a strategy involved in it, how you have to market, and we have our expertise. And we know that, employers sitting there are looking for resources like you, but they also need something easy for themselves. And they would always keep an eye watch on PR holders or the citizens.
Okay, and that is something that is advisable after getting a permanent residency.
Yes, after PR, don't leave your job. We know that you have a family, you have responsibility. Start doing your research or start looking out for the jobs or the employers sitting at the comfort of your country, but after the visa done.
Thank you so much. So yes, there's a great opportunity for you. Apply your PR, get your PR, and then we will assist you with job hunting as well from India. So contact Hodophiles Xplore Visas Private Limited for more information. And wanted to know things, there are people whose occupation falls under 491 subclass category, and obviously they will be falling under 491 as well. So when they want to file their application for just a nomination, so parallelly it can be filed under 491 as well.
Depends on the state. Like there would be states which would permit you to file under both non-mandatory.
Depending upon occupation and the state of allowing.
Yeah, mainly, the state, because if an occupation, say, is available in Victoria under both 190 or 491, Victoria till date has not permitted to file to EOI's pandemic. So you have to select either of the work. But there are states like MSW which allows you the flexibility to file application under 190, 491 parallel. So just very much state of the business basically.
Right. And my next question is that there are many candidates who fight parallelly. They apply for Canada, they apply for Australia, so they usually prefer giving ILTS examination. Okay, so that it can be used in both Canada and Australia filing. So what you we suggest if somebody is filing for Australia, they should go for PT because PT is more scoring. So what your suggestions?
See, it all depends the kind of command that you have over the language, right? Because PTs usually recommend that the main reason being the human interference is not there at all. But there are certain changes which are going to happen after 7th of August under PT as well, right? So IELTS is something which is globally accepted. So if you have your valid IELTS score, and if you want to proceed even with your Canadian immigration, that would be accepted. So it would depend upon because it is again client specific. If a client has a real good command of the language, then he or she should not worry about giving IELTS. But if you're a little skeptical, if you're a little nervous about somebody questioning you, then go for BT. Because it is system based, less or you can say no human interference until now. But again, some changes under PT is going to get executed after 7th of August.
Correct. Because when it comes to a film BR, the candidate can score 20 points from the language parameter. Yes. So somebody who is giving an IELTS, they have to score 18 each to what you in order to secure 20 points on them. But whereas in PT, out of 79, if somebody out of 90, if somebody gives 79 each, they can easily get 20 points. Yeah. So in that comparison, and it will be really good to go with PT. But there are certain occupations which mandatorily needs
Like for say teachers in Australia, they have to give IELTS academic, and there are very specific requirements of the months, like the swing and splitting and cleaning, and it has to be IELTS academic. Likewise, for social workers, it's only IELTS academic, not journeyman. So we have to check the occupation because it all depends on which skill assessment authority they're following. As for that, we can guide.
Yes, the Hodophiles team, when the consultant connect with the client, they can gauge the client and accordingly they can, guide them the right path which can be taken. Yeah. So anything else which you want to say to our clients?
Yes, the only thing is don't wait for anything to happen first in terms of getting your scores in the English test, because most of the skill assessment authorities, they do not require English test score apart from Engineers Australia or maybe IPS CPA or Teachers Australian Association of Teachers. Rest, they don't require your English test score. Don't waste your time because time is precious when we talk about immigration. And the quota is not unlimited. There is something which I was mentioning, occupational serving limit, which is so very important for each candidate to understand that you are waiting. But by that time, while you are making some preparations before you start the process, there are people who already have a positive outcome. There are people who are already there in the selection pool. So don't be late, because if you are late, then you're missing the chance.
Right, you said. So apply at the right time when you're eligible. He will in fact beat the competition as well. It's not just you. It's not just Indians. There are many, people from other countries also apply for our Australian PR. So any support we require in terms of evaluating your profile, please contact Hodophiles Xplore with us privately. Thank you so much for watching our video.